Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Emma Zoloff and I'm a psychologist in the Anxiety Disorder Center at the Child Mind Institute.
And I'm Stephanie Schwartz. I'm also a psychologist at the Child Mind Institute in the Anxiety Disorder Center. We're excited to be here today to talk about holiday tips for children with selective mutism. We know that the holidays can be both an exciting and a stressful time for all families, and that parents of children with SM can feel added pressure since we know that kids with SM have difficulty speaking to new people in different settings and sometimes when doing different activities.
Yes, and all of these challenges can definitely come up during the holidays. If you're traveling, for example, you might be wondering how your child will respond at the airport if a stranger asks them a question, or at a family gathering. You might be curious how they're going to do with questions from relatives who they might not see as frequently, or how they'll do kind of doing typical holiday activities or hanging out with other kids. These are all understandable and common questions because of these large family gatherings, changes in routine, time off from school can add stress and can also be opportunities for brave practice.
Absolutely. So today the goal is really to give you some tips on how you can set your child up for success so that the holidays can be an enjoyable experience for everyone, and how to prepare both before holiday events, what to do ahead of time, what to do when you're at holiday events and during those, and then at the end, how to celebrate successful bravery practice.
Yes, that's very important. So we'll start with thinking about before the holidays actually begin. So this is a great time to kind of take stock about what activities or events or travel plans you have coming up and use that, and think about where your child is in terms of their treatment progress to identify some goals that you think might be realistic and kind of doable challenges for your kiddo during the holidays. We recommend coming up with 1 or 2 goals and then also thinking about what some plan Bs might be, your backup plans, in case your first goals or first ideas end up being too challenging or unexpected things get in the way. So then based on that, you want to create a packing list so that you're prepared and ready to go for your bravery practice. This might include bringing a bravery chart or a sticker sheet, whatever you're using to reinforce your child along the way. Definitely could be helpful to bring favorite toys, favorite activities so that they can warm up with things that they're comfortable with and really enjoy. And then also important to bring prizes so that they can get reinforced immediately for all their hard work. Ahead of time, we also recommend talking to your child, I guess depending on their age, about what these goals are and what prizes they could earn for their bravery. And we also recommend talking to the people that you're going to see, so relatives or friends, to let them know kind of where your child is in terms of their bravery steps and what they might be working on, and then give them some ideas of what you might want them to do and what you might want them not to do when they're interacting with your child. So some examples might be how to greet your kiddo. I think a lot of adults, we see this a lot when they first see a child, will ask a question and say, how are you? How are you doing? How's school? And we actually recommend for kiddos with SM that new people don't ask a question right away and instead say something like, it's so nice to see you. I'm so excited to play with you today. Or pick up something cool that they're wearing. This backpack looks awesome. To just comment without asking a question. So you could let people know that might be helpful. If your child's goal is answering your questions in front of other people, you might ask your relatives or families to refrain from asking questions, but definitely join in on playtime and play and have fun with your child. Or your child's goal might be working on actually answering questions to new people. So you might ask to have this new person warm up first before going in to ask a question. We also encourage you to let your kind of family members and friends know that you'll be guiding them along with the way for this process so that they can look to you for when to move forward and take kind of the next step in the process for you. And then we also recommend asking your host for a quiet spot that you can spend some time playing alone so that you have some space to do a full warm-up because you'll be in a new setting potentially. You want to be prepared for that.
Absolutely. So when you arrive, as Emma just said, we definitely recommend a period of warm-up time. So hopefully you've spoken to the host ahead of time and identified a quiet and private place that you can bring your toys and bring your bravery sheets to give your kiddo some time to warm up in that new setting. And really the goal of warm-up time is just to give your kiddo a little bit of time to get more comfortable in this new setting. So what we recommend is at first avoiding any questions or any prompts to speak, And really just starting out by following your kiddo's lead and playing a favorite game, really engaging them, getting right in there with them and playing along, and having a good time yourself as well. After some time that you're playing, you can go ahead and give a question a chance. And that really gives your child the opportunity to verbalize to you without others nearby. And remember, along the way, both in this warm-up period, but also when you're, with other people celebrating or eating or playing outside, whatever it may be, you want to use labeled praise, things like "great job letting me know," "thanks so much for telling me." Use reflections where you repeat or paraphrase what the child's told you. Both labeled praise and reflections really reinforce the child's brave talking and thus increase the likelihood that they'll do more brave talking, which is what we want. And also using a reward system along the way. As Emma mentioned before, hopefully you have something set up at home that you can bring with you, and so your child's also earning brave checks or brave stickers along the way as they're using their brave voice, and then they can earn prizes at the end. And once your child is verbal with you during that warm-up time, that's a good indication that you can then move on shortly to more fade-ins with new people or to targeted exposures. And really, the next steps depend on where your specific child is in treatment and what they're ready for and what's kind of challenging for them, but also an appropriate step. And we always recommend that it's best to have a slow and gradual approach. So maybe adding one person into the room with you in that quiet playtime and seeing how your child does in terms of verbalizing with that one new person prior to moving on to larger groups of people or different activities, which we know can be more challenging. We'd much rather go on at a slower pace and have your child feel successful, build momentum before we move on to more challenging steps.
Yes, agreed, especially because there might be new things that you haven't anticipated or new things for your child.
Absolutely.
For sure. So once you've done your bravery practice, we recommend ending on a win. So finding a time when your child is successful to kind of end the exposure for that day or for that activity, so that you can really celebrate and your child can leave feeling accomplished and successful also. So this might mean kind of that you go back to your plan B. If your original goal isn't met or your child is struggling more than you anticipated, that's okay. That's why you have a backup plan, so that you can find a way to help your child feel successful at the end of the practice. And then definitely follow through with the rewards you set up so that you can celebrate and your child can feel successful and rewarded.
Absolutely. And we definitely want to make a point to say that once your child does meet those goals, whether that be the Plan A goals or the Plan B goals, whenever they do their brave talking practice and achieves those goals, it's okay to take a step back from bravery practice. We know that there's hopefully going to be a lot of celebrations around the holidays and a lot of time spent with family or friends doing fun activities, and every minute doesn't need to be a brave talking exposure. We really want the holidays to be enjoyable, be a time for everyone to have fun. We want it to be overall positive, time for relaxing for both your kiddo and for yourselves. So we do encourage you to take a step back and relax, have fun, and remember that not every minute needs to be brave talking practice, although we want to make sure it gets in there.
Yes. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, and we hope you have a great holiday season.
Thanks so much. Happy holidays.